All right, we'll go ahead and get going here today. Thanks everybody for checking out the broadcast. I forgot to put the screen up over top, so I just let it go without it. So I hope everybody's having a great day. If this is your first time checking out my broadcast, my name is Jonathan. This broadcast here is just me kind of, I do a daily meeting during the week at 4 p.m. Central to just kind of talk about how my diet and weight loss is going. I started this in November just as a way to kind of get my health and my weight under control. So in November, I did an extended fast. After that, I switched to a whole food plant-based diet, and that's what I've been doing now here for mostly the last 3 months since I ended the extended fast. I've lost about 160 pounds now as of the weigh-in yesterday, and I'm really happy with the diet. Was not planning on doing a whole food plant-based diet when I started this, but we've switched to that, and it's going great. I just checking if the audio is working okay. Yesterday, I know there were some issues with the audio. I'm going to actually move this microphone here too, if that works any better. Let me know if there's any issues with the audio as I'm talking here today. So today is day 138. Since I started doing this, and it's like I said, it's been going really well. I'm happy with how I'm feeling on the whole food plant-based diet, and it's definitely been doing great for me on the scale. After the second extended fast that we did here, it was a little bit rough as far as getting back into the weight loss. But now that we're back into the swing of the diet, I feel like the weight loss is going really well for me. Carrie's saying hi. Hi, Carrie. Thanks for stopping in, of course. So if anybody has any non-scale victories, I'd love to hear those. If you did weigh in yesterday and you'd like to share your weight, I always love to hear any success that you're having. If anybody's having any difficulties with their diets or their weight loss, I'd also love to hear if you have any questions or if there's any help that you need. I'd love to help out with that as well. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and that you have the notifications turned on so you know when I do go live. And generally, it's weekdays at 4 p.m. Central Time. I also have an Instagram that I try to share some photos on of the food, the scale, the weight loss progress throughout the 3 years here. And that is right here. It's Instagram. It's at Fasting. That's FAHSTING. Be sure to check that out. And then we also have a Discord that we're trying to grow, kind of a support group through the Discord. If you want to join that, the link is down below in the description. That should be active for about a week, and then you can. If it's later than a week from now, you can send me a message or find a newer video, and there should be a link down there for that as well. As far as non-scale victories for me and what I kind of was going to talk about today, for me, it's been something that's been going on here for the last few weeks, but I don't believe I've talked about it on stream. I know um, I've talked about getting it and everything a little bit on stream, but for me, the non-scale victory I want to talk about today is my CPAP machine. So I have sleep apnea, and I've had pretty severe sleep apnea uh, my whole as long as I can remember. I was diagnosed with sleep apnea in 2007. I believe it was early 2007 that I was diagnosed, or it would have been spring, I guess, May maybe. Um, and I've used the CPAP since then. In 2013, when I got down to about 285 pounds, I did quit using the CPAP for a while. It was, gosh, I don't even know how long it was I didn't use it, but I know I got back up to 400 pounds. Uh, and I'm trying to think if I went back to the doctor just to get a prescription for the CPAP equipment again, or if I was reusing that stuff. I had already been reusing it, and then I just needed to get new equipment. I can't remember, but there was a period in 2014 to 2015 where I wasn't using the CPAP, but I was back using it again here for the last 5 years. The equipment, I have not been great with the upkeep as far as getting, because if you have a CPAP and you've had it for a long time, you kind of know some of this probably, but it used to be that if you had a CPAP and you had a prescription for it, you could go get CPAP stuff all the time or quite often without any issue. It was not that. I mean, it was probably still over 5 to 8 years ago that they switched the laws that you had to go get a prescription every year to get new equipment and new machines and things like that. And a doctor generally isn't going to write a prescription without you coming and seeing the doctor. And I kind of had an odd relationship with doctors there after the uh, the 2014 weight loss. So I never really got, like, I would order the equipment just off the internet and pay just whatever that, without claiming insurance. I would just pay for it out of pocket, and I would just replace the mask and hose. And the machine that I use is the same machine. I mean, I used the one machine from 2007 to probably 2014, 15, and then I've used this other machine since then. So I've only had two machines in the whole time. But anyways, going on about my non-scale victory here. The equipment's been kind of needing to be replaced. The head straps and the face masks, specifically the head straps, were just getting really worn out, and it was getting annoying trying to even get it secured around my head and without it leaking. Especially, I have a beard as well, which makes wearing a CPAP a little bit more difficult. But I wear a full face mask and I make it work. Um, but for the last couple weeks, I have not used my CPAP, and I feel like I've been, or I know I've been sleeping great. It's still without using my CPAP. Carrie did mention that I was snoring the other day, but overall, I'm not having like the bad CPAP sleep that I would be getting if I was still up in weight. And I'm a little nervous about not using the CPAP, still being at 360 pounds, but just I and I've said it a few times is that with the fasting that I did and the weight loss, I feel like the weight I've lost has been around my organs more, like my uh like my what it's visceral fat, right? Is it? Yeah. And I feel like, my neck is thinner and this area is thinning out, and then Carrie just not terrible. She just elbowed me and I rolled over. Yeah. And Jen's saying hi. Hi, Jen. Thanks for checking it out today. And so uh, it's the first couple times that I tried to go to bed without the CPAP is was very nerve wracking because I, like I said, I had very severe sleep apnea. My machine was set to like 18 psi. If you have sleep apnea, then you can kind of maybe gauge yours versus what that kind of reading is. But it's at the higher end of what the machine, at least in 2007, it's at the higher end of what the machines could even output. My numbers were pretty bad. And so the idea of not like the relief I got from the first time I used the CPAP has always been what's driven me to kind of continue to use it too, because I was in a pretty bad shape. So the fear of getting back into that sleep deprivation, and then the things that can happen uh, while you're in, while you're having or you're suffering from sleep apnea, um, it's pretty scary too. So it did take me a little while to get used to the idea of falling asleep without the CPAP, and then I kind of have been doing a lot better. And in fact, it's been to the point like uh, I, and it's something I think my body kind of does as a natural thing, but I have a hard time sometimes falling asleep uh, in I used to have a hard time fall asleep like in random places, I guess. But like with this daylight savings and everything, kind of making me tired and all that. There's been a couple times where I've just been like asleep on the couch, and I don't do that a lot. But I've kind of had like quick naps, I guess, here the last week or so, and so it's been something where I just never did that before. Like if I wanted to take a nap, I would go into the room and I'd put the machine on and I'd just go to sleep. And I don't generally nap very well. I usually, uh, I mean, my sleeping. It's weird to think about how different my sleeping pattern is now than it was 15 years ago because I used to sleep all the time because I was always tired from the sleep apnea. So, anyways, going on about it there, my big non-scale victory is that I am, uh, or I have not been using the CPAP machine. I've been sleeping well. I've been waking up rested, and I've not. I don't need to replace that equipment that was getting bad and spend more money on it. And I'm going to continue losing the weight, and it's going to continue to get better. I'm going to continue to sleep better. So that is kind of my big non-scale victory for me, and that is for me a big one because the CPAP has been um, something that it's like it holds you back from doing some things. I mean, and I guess I've used it as an excuse to hold me back from things as well. I guess, for example, like going to my son is in Cub Scouts and they do camp outs. And anytime they talk about doing a camp out, I have to be, for one, I got to be like, well, I'm 500 pounds going on a camp out sounds about like zero fun. But on top of that, uh, I need to find or have access to electricity or a way to plug my machine in. And so that was kind of nice that it would give me an out if I needed an out or a reason to not go and do it. But it's nice to have um, that not be an issue anymore. Or yeah, it's going to be nice to not have that be an issue, and then I can do some of those things uh, with a little bit more confidence and not have to worry about where if I'm going to have my machine. So it's nice to not be tethered to that at night. I know Carrie's going to be, has been disappointed because that's been her white noise machine here for 14 years or however long we've been hanging out together on this crazy trip. So so yeah, that's kind of the big thing for me today. Um, I was listening to some more stuff, and I'm more and more I'm convincing myself that the whole food plant based is really the best thing for me. Just the way I talked about it yesterday about how I wanted to get some pasta and noodles, and we tried some new pasta that was not the best, but the sauce Carrie makes generally makes up for it. So we had pasta and tomato sauce yesterday, and I end up having a second serving of it, and no guilt about it. I mean, I really, when I'm working now, I'm not eating a lot during the day either. um I'm going to bed satisfied every night. I'm not sitting here, hungry or fighting cravings. And the cravings I'm having now are in line with my diet, which is a big plus. I don't have cravings that are outside of, um, the things that I've allowed myself to eat. And almost anything that I allow myself to eat, I could overeat and not put myself in a bad spot. I mean, if I overate it, um, like I guess the thing I probably would say I've overeaten in the last few days is Ezekiel bread with low sodium Ezekiel bread and peanut butter. I've had multiple slices of that the last couple days. But if I were to sit there and put the calories on paper, I don't even know how many calories are in a slice of Ezekiel bread. Carrie could probably tell me, but it's yeah, I could eat like a loaf of that in a day, and I don't think that I would kill my diet. It would probably kill my gut, and I probably would have a hard time with digestion for a little while. But uh, it wouldn't kill my diet, and those are the things I'm craving. I'm not craving going and getting um, other things. Carrie says that she's overeating cuties right now, and that's what I was. I mean, I've been overeating cuties since we switched over to a whole food plant based diet. I mean, it's one of the uh, things that I eat. I mean, I'm gonna have 3 cuties on the way home today. Like I already know that because that's how many are left in the fridge from the 3 pound bag of cuties I bought on Tuesday. Um, so yeah, and those are just so. I mean, they're small oranges even at that. So 3 cuties is probably the equivalent of eating like one actual orange. Um, and that's more like just drinking orange juice. And really, in the end, like there's no like substance in an orange, but it kills. I mean, it's satisfying. Um, I want to someday just grab a 3 pound bag of oranges and just pound the whole bag, just peel them and just to see if I can do it. Because some days I feel like I could. Oh, I just totally bumped my microphone there. We are good on vitamin C. Yeah, absolutely, we're good on vitamin C. Um, but yeah, so just with the whole food plant based diet, I the more I see about the old diet or the what animal protein and stuff does to us, the tougher time I have with the thought of going back to it. It just doesn't um it just doesn't make sense, especially and it's been the toughest for me, and it's probably the easiest to gross yourself out with if you really want to, is the dairy. um just the way that the animals live that we eat and all that other stuff, what the process and the contents of what is in dairy uh is pretty astounding. And it's crazy that it's not um it's all accepted as just part of the natural diet. It's all part of, and it's weird too, because like, uh, but yeah, it's one of the toughest things because it's the highest calorie count, it's the lowest volume. I mean, it's fat, it's oil, it's all the things that we crave. But I'm just with the mental clarity and the physical, like I feel so much better physically. I probably am sleep deprived over the past week as far as hours of sleep. Like I said, between daylight savings happening here and our travel and everything that's been going on, uh, I I feel like I should feel more tired than I do, but I'm been having a great, uh, I've been feeling extremely productive overall with everything I work on, and around the house and getting stuff done. That's also gone way up as well. So it is something where, uh, I mean, there's probably a way to eat clean with animal protein, or there's people that probably like my diet was so bad, and the way uh I was, I mean, the chemicals I was putting in it, and I mean, nobody would feel good eating the diet I ate, but uh, so I would imagine anything better than this would make anybody feel better. But I feel great, and it's really, um, it's hard to explain, and it's hard to like justify. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to like because I'm in the middle of it too, and I've been talking about that a lot the last couple of days. Is that there's gonna be a long period here where I'm losing a little bit each day, but I'm not losing the big numbers, and but like the whole food plant based SOS free, I'm I'm on board with it. Like I just it's done too much for me so far for me to even think about doing something different. But at the same time, I want to be open to everybody, and I want everybody to succeed with what they're doing. Um, but I know I'm going to get to the point where uh, more and more people are going to ask me what I'm doing. You look great. What are you doing to lose weight? And it's going to be something where I have to find a way to answer that question without uh, I don't know, with like, because it's weird because everything I see about this diet, almost everybody that switches to a whole food plant based SOS free diet does it because they have some terminal diagnosis, or they have um, last straw. Like, and I felt like I was at the last straw, but that wasn't, I mean, fasting is where I went for my last straw, and then I was going to do keto or carnivore, or I don't know, paleo or something. Um and so like me and Carrie came to this at a different from a different avenue. Neither one of us had gone to the doctor and been told we had diabetes. Neither one of us had, been told we had heart disease. Uh, it's not saying that those things weren't there. I mean, 520 pounds, sure, there's probably some diabetes and some other things going on. Um, but but the tough part is, all right. So Carrie said here, we know it sounds extreme, but it's so hard not to want everybody to eat this way. Yes, that is um, kind of, yeah, what I'm saying here, or what is something that it's it, it's one of those things where like you can answer it a few different ways. You can answer it and be like, well, it's pretty extreme and not many people are going to do it, but this is what we're doing. Or you could be like, well, I tell you, but you're not going to do it anyways. Like, Like, how do you approach it one way or the other way? Because the everybody thinks we're crazy. Like, it's not nobody. Nobody is like, oh yeah, getting rid of salt and oil and sugar. That's a common thing. That's what everybody's. That's the big craze. The rave right now is or the craze is not eating salt, oil, or sugar. Um, but it's not. But I feel like it should be, and I want to scream it, and I want to tell everybody that you it's your diet's probably working, and you're probably doing great, and but you could be doing better. That's what I feel like I want to say. Like, because I don't think I could do better. I don't think I could have a diet that is giving me better results. I feel more stable with the results. Golden's checking in saying, hey, Golden, thanks for checking in. Um, and so it's hard for me to not uh, like. Could you go into the details of what you typically eat? I can in a little bit, yeah. So the with the trying to talk to people about it and not like it is extreme, but I feel like it's the thing that everybody should be doing. Like, and the reason why I think it is so extreme is because they've been trying to convince us not to eat this way for so long. Um, and so, uh, and when I look outside of the random fruit I used to eat, my diet is 100% different. There is nothing from my previous diet that I eat now. There's not one thing I couldn't like. We're talking about going to the gas station, and the only thing that's ever in a gas station possibly usually is fresh fruit that I could possibly eat, and then the water in the freezer. Um, but it's and what's crazy about that is that the reason why almost all that stuff is off limits is because of the salt, because we don't have salt in our diet. If we allowed salt, we would have other options. Um, and so that means that almost every item in that store has sodium in it some sort. I mean, there's probably sugar or oil, but sodium in it of some sort. And we used to fight. There used to be wars over salt, and now there's more salt in a convenience store than countries fought wars over. And um, so this may be a personal question. I can skip it. Do you do this diet for other reasons than just diet? I mean, I'm doing it to get down to 220 pounds. I'm doing it because I have 4 kids. Um, I'm doing it to live longer. Because for the longest time, you know, I say I'm gonna live forever, but you know, my actions weren't jiving with my words. Um, the other reasons at the time, I mean, the swelling in my ankles. I had a ton of swelling. Uh, you know, the ethical. So I don't, and that's why I don't claim to be vegan. I may eat a vegan diet, like a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square. Um, I follow um, the diet because of health issues, not because of ethical. Uh, Financial issues, though, economical, uh, it has made a huge impact in my life. When I did the 42 days fasting, I kept a record of how much money I had spent in fast food and kind of, throughout the 40 days or 30 days. It was November. I guess it was during November. And I was spending 400 easy. I think it was 450 a month on just fast food. So that's not dinner. It wasn't breakfast sometimes. It was breakfast most of the time or second breakfast. Um, but but just fast food. That wasn't pizza. That we, if we ordered out dinner, I didn't count that. I was just counting when I use my credit card to go and buy fast food, and I was spending over $400 a month on fast food. That's not counting gas station purchases, which were getting crazy as well. Um, so it is, those are the main reasons. I mean, the biggest top reasons, family. Second reason, so I live forever. Um, and then yeah, and then money is also a great factor or a huge part of it because yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, you're saying it's scary to see how much it adds up. It's insane. And like, I went to Hy-Vee the other day and I bought everything I was going to eat for lunch and extra, like that 3 pound bag of oranges was in there. And so that wasn't going to be just, I spent like $9. And that was actually, was more. It was more than a day, more than one lunch worth of meals. Whereas if I had $9 in my pocket, when I went to go get fast food, that meant I would go to McDonald's because I could use the app and just charge it on my phone and I wouldn't need my credit card or cash. And then I could get a $12 or $15 meal. That's what $9 used to buy me is a app purchase of a value meal. So you were asking about what I eat in a day, and I'll kind of run through. If I had to have uh, if I had to have a perfect day or a perfect set of meals, I'd probably start the day. I would have a smoothie. It would have a large amount of spinach and kale in it. Uh, the berry mix, like raspberries, strawberries, blackberries. Uh, drop some peaches or pineapple, depending on what we have frozen in the fridge. A stalk of celery. Usually, we use apple juice as the mix. A little bit of water if I get crazy with the size. Um, and then from there, as far as lunch goes, uh, probably the night before is dinner, which usually is like a miso soup or a chili that Carrie makes. That she shared some of the recipes on our Discord that you could see what's in like a chili. If I don't take leftovers, a lot of times I'll eat a can of corn and Ezekiel bread with peanut butter, and that'll be kind of what I eat like throughout the 8-9 hours I'm at work. Cutie oranges, but and then sometimes I have like shredded wheat with uh, soy milk. We get unsweetened soy milk from Walmart called West Soy. Um, but I don't have that a lot. But those are kind of some lunch, kind of any mix of those things. Previous dinner, Ezekiel bread, corn. I'll bust open a can of pineapple and eat a can of pineapple sometimes as a snack. And then for dinner, like I said, usually what Carrie makes, a big salad. I've really been loving a big salad. Carrie makes some really good dressings. They're usually 4 or 5 ingredients. Like the one yesterday was ginger, raisin, and walnuts, maybe, or almonds. And she makes a mustard that's pretty good. So, as far as snacks, if I'm gonna snack throughout the day, I do like Lara bars. We don't buy them a lot because we know that that's probably the worst. I mean, they're not bad. They're like 200 calories per bar, and they say they only have 3 or 4 ingredients. So, um, and then dehydrated mango. Big fan of dehydrated mango. Definitely have to not have it around. Like, uh, but when we have it around, I love snacking on it. And I mean, it's like eating the cutie oranges. I don't feel that guilty when I eat a lot of them, but a little bit more. Andrew's asking here, how do we discover the whole food plant based? So I discovered whole food plant based because I had gotten into fasting, and my goal when I started this was to fast for 30 days in November of 2020, and then switch over to a diet to be determined at the time. But my plan was probably going to be keto, carnivore, or paleo. I was trying to do um uh I I have this big hang up in my head about trying to eat like we used to eat 20,000 years ago, 30,000 years ago. And not necessarily like we used to eat, but realizing that we are the descendants of those people. And that evolutionary time has a far greater effect on our body than the past 150 years has, as far as the way our body processes foods and digests them. And so paleo was something that I really was kind of like leaning towards. And then while I was fasting, I was doing research about water fasting, and I don't care. So also, my little brother eats a he eats vegan, I guess, or plant based, but he eats sugar, salt, and oil. He doesn't eliminate those, but he does not eat animal products. And so he had been telling me to try it out because he had been doing it for a year and he'd been feeling great, and he had some weight loss success. And I told him that there's no way I'm not going to eat meat the rest of my life. And then got into the fasting, started doing research, saw some stuff from a place called True North Clinic out of California, and watched some of the videos of the people. There was, I believe it's Dylan from Well Your World. He has a YouTube page, and they sell some salt, oil, sugar free products as well. And the stuff he was saying during his fast and what the doctors were saying really resonated with it really resonated with how I was feeling at the moment. I'm like, shit, I'm 10 days fasted right now, and this is how I'm feeling. And they talk about having these crisis things that were happening, and that was happening with my feet, like where I was having pain in my feet, but I knew it wasn't a bad pain. And so from what they were saying, I was kind of like, what are they doing? What's going on here? And Carrie had mentioned we had some friends that were doing whole food plant-based, and they had eliminated oil from their diet, which is very popular and very do it. If that's what you want to do first, do it. Eliminate the oil, because oil is the highest calorie count. It doesn't, and so it's probably the worst. I mean, sugar's bad too because of the addiction. But anyways, so the True North Clinic, they have their patients fast and then come out and they do a whole food plant-based diet, and they do salt, oil, sugar free. And I was like, if I can go 42 days eating no food, then I could probably go a few weeks eating just vegetables and fruits and eliminating meat. Never thought of doing it. Never had a diet where I eliminated meat and animal products. And I've had diets where I've succeeded. I've lost a lot of weight. I've lost weight. I've yo-yoed a lot. So, but having the just that happen, just seeing those people, what they were saying, the results they were getting, the similarities and the emotions and the things that were going and the feelings I was having, I was like, I'm going to give it a try. And so Carrie actually switched over while I was fasting and started kind of working on figuring out the diet for herself, and was really great for me kind of when I got out of the fast. And the fasting did a great job helping me get rid of my addictions to salt, oil, and sugar, the caffeine, the food, changing my routine, all of the things I needed it to do. The fasting did for me. And so I would recommend that you mono diet or do something if you're going to change to a whole food plant-based diet. That way you don't blame the diet on these effects, because a lot of times what happens with fasting is people get headaches or they get these ill feelings and they blame it on the fasting, and it's actually a withdrawal from the foods they used to eat. And so to curb the hang up, whatever the headache or whatever they're having, they eat, and generally they eat the same foods that they were eating before. If you switch at that point, you may still have the headache, but you are eating. So let's say you start a fast and you go 2 days, you get a bad headache. At that point, don't switch to your old diet. Go to a whole food plant-based diet, SOS free diet, do something, or whatever. Get rid of oil and eat plant-based. But that way, you can't blame the not eating on the headache if you still have a headache a day later, because you just ate, And it's like I said, it's getting over the addiction. There's a few comments here I'm gonna try to read through. You're welcome, Golden. Yeah, it can be easy. Let's see. Yeah, so tips like Carrie gives here, she has cooked potatoes in the fridge all the time for herself when she's at home. And so if she feels like she's hungry or wants something, she eats a potato. She eats it like a carrot, or she eats it like you'd eat an apple if she wants. Or I really like them with salad dressing, especially the salad dressing Carrie makes. So, yeah, and that's what she said. She put marinara dressing, and then Jennifer saying when she used to not eat all meat, we acted like she was crazy. Um, and then she says she loves potatoes and sweet potatoes in the air fryer. Um, yeah, either as a baked potato or as fries. Yeah, both ways they're really good. Um, yeah, golden. Yeah, it is weird. The first time I did, it's the weirdest thing, man, and it's uh, man, so it's just so weird because it's counterintuitive. But in the history of man, potatoes probably used to, that's how they were probably eaten. Somebody probably just baked them on a fire or softened them up somehow, boiled them, and just ate them. Uh, having table salt and a stick of butter at the table every night was not something that was normal. Like that didn't happen 500 years ago. They're like, stick of butter, huh? What do you mean? And then let's see. Andrew, appreciate the response. What's my motivation to keep going? Could I ever picture myself going back? You've been doing it for 2 years now, just trying to validate it's a one-way path. Yeah, I'm yeah, I don't have zero plans of going back right now. I mean, I don't mean to say right now. I have zero plans of going back. I mean, it's tough to say those things because 8 years ago I was 285 pounds. I said I was never going to gain any of that weight back, and then fast forward a decade and 520 pounds. So, but right now, I guess so my motivation to keep going is that I'm still losing weight, and I'm still losing weight at a very good rate and a healthy rate. The I'm 360 pounds. I was 359.2 yesterday. I got on the scale today, and it's going to fluctuate, but I was a pound down from yesterday even, and that might not stay, or I might only be a pound a week from now, and I don't care. But I know that the foods I'm putting in my body are not going to make me fatter than I am now, and there's almost no fat in my diet. So the only thing that unless my body takes it and converts it and turns it into a fat, which would be kind of a dick thing to do because I don't need any more fat, and it's been doing it for a long time. But so the weight loss keeps me going, the mental clarity, the lack of fatigue, my heart doesn't beat goofy, not goofy, but I don't get like super heavy out of breath. And I mean, obviously some of that is affected by being being 359 pounds versus being 520 pounds. But I don't picture myself ever going back. The only things that I ever my big hiccups now, my big worries now are eating it by mistake, and then having react like seeing how my body is affected. Like somebody accidentally gives me something that has egg in it or something. But I'm so protective of what I eat right now that it's very hard that would happen. And then the so yeah, I couldn't picture going back, and I think that the toughest part is it's just hard. It's dairy and meat and animal products is surrounds us everywhere. It's hard to get away from it. You even go to health restaurants where they had salads is their main thing, and they still have meat that they put in there. And it's and then that's a product of capitalism too, because they have to provide a product that people want to buy. It's just unfortunate that more people don't know that they can live without it. I mean, yeah, I, the thought of not eating meat, I'm only 3.5 months into, or four, yeah, it's 4 months in. What is it, 130? Yeah, 4.5 months in. So, it feels weird to talk in definitive terms because I'm not to my goal. I have no doubt that I'll get to my goal at this rate. And it's going to happen as quick as I'd want. I mean, I could have lost weight maybe doing fasting longer or eating fewer calories, but uh, I feel so satisfied. In fact, Golden's asking, I don't monitor any macros. Uh, if I would not have lost weight this past Wednesday, if I'd have gone that 10-day period without losing weight, um, I would have been more. I would have, but I was coming off another extended fast, and so I was giving myself a chance. And so I eat intuitively, like you're asking. I just eat till I'm full, and sometimes I push myself to eat more. Like multiple times, I've finished a salad just because I didn't want to throw the last 4 bites of the salad away, but I was pretty much full. But I'm not gonna. I mean, the last 4 bites of a salad's like cucumber, carrot, and spinach. I'm not going to feel bad about eating, stuffing myself with cucumber. Um, and so would you say you can appreciate the unhealthy food and its effect on your body now that you're eating clean? You've eliminated the stress, and now you sense, yeah. Um, the last couple of videos I talked a little bit. We had some stuff like uh stress over the weekend and emotions and stuff. And I definitely felt like I was feeling emotions better. I didn't have a fog over me. I didn't turn to food when the stress came up. And uh, I, um, yeah, I mean, and it's so tough. It's because anybody who loses 160 pounds is going to feel amazing no matter what they do different. They're going to feel amazing. I can only compare it to the other times where I've lost a lot of weight, and it took me, I lost weight probably just as the same rate or just as fast. But once I got to my goal, I was floundering. I was eating 600, 800 calories, and that was with meat and sugar and salt and oil and all that. So the volume of food it wasn't very high. And that's the biggest factor for me is um the the volume of food I can eat now and not feel guilty. I make a smoothie and I stuff it full of spinach, and I make it between 750 milliliters and a liter. Like it's just the measurement on the side, whatever a liter is. Um and I mean, there's uh if I would have had a liter of a protein shake or a liter of something else that used to be on my diets, it would have been easily uh, 800 calories, 1,000 calories, where it's like 200, or it's probably 400 calories, but like, uh, and so and the salads are the same way. I eat these big salads. We take large amounts of spinach. We don't take, it's not like a side salad that you get from a restaurant. It's not even a regular salad that you get from a restaurant. It's like double that. And it's guilt-free eating. And we put dressing on it that there might be a little bit of sweetness to the dressing, dates, raisins, things like that. But overall, it's not a Snickers bar. It's not eating full fat ranch dressing, all that stuff. Um, and so congrats, thanks. Golden said that's something that you like about the whole food plant based. It's fairly low in terms of calorie density. Yeah. So one of the books I read was Eat to Live by Dr. Fuhrman, and he talks a lot about calorie density in food, but one of the big things he talks about is nutritional density in food. And the foods that I eat are very low in calorie, but very high in nutritional content. Whereas the foods I used to eat were very high in calories and very low in nutritional content. And so that's also the thing. Like what I'm putting in my body, it's more usable in a good way for my body than what I used to put in my body. Do I use the Daily Dose dozen app from Gregor? You find it's a great way to track quantities and ratios. It's also from starting out and get a feel. Yeah, I do not. Carrie's been reading the book by Gregor, How Not to Die. She's been enjoying that. I'm right now. It's been, like I said, it's 3.5, 4 months in. My big focus has been just on uh, figuring out, learning the lifestyle, learning the diet, because that is, uh, switching our diet 100%, using ingredients like quinoa and ginger and chickpeas and those things were not in the recipe book that we used to have. The flours, I mean, the different flours that we use or whatever, um, was not uh, in our diet plan before. So it's been for me a big thing is just trying to find routines, trying to find foods that I can eat that I feel comfortable with, and keeping myself satisfied. Uh, the idea that saying a salad satisfies me 5 months ago, I would have laughed in your face. Now I crave them. That's, if I can get a good salad with a bunch of chopped up carrots and some broccoli in it and some corn, some seeds, that's a good meal. I mean, and I've talked about it in the past. We know 1,000 different ways to prepare chicken, uh, but we don't know any ways to prepare spinach. But in reality, there's just as many ways to prepare that salad as there is to prepare chicken if you take the time to figure it out. It's just everything's made it so easy up till this point to do it the other way. I mean, everything's in freezer bags and microwave it and it's ready to go. It's hard. Our diet, there isn't a lot of meals ready to eat for us, so there's a lot more prep involved um, with it. But I'll have to check in under that app. I guess what I was going to say to answer the question is that uh, as I continue on with this and as I get down the road with the diet, uh, if I do start to feel like I'm getting hung up, um, and let's say, I get down to where I'm at 240 pounds and I'm not getting down to 235, and that's then those are the times where I'm going to start paying attention to what I'm eating, start paying attention to the macros and what I can do to better to get myself to that goal of being under 220. um, but I'm just gonna bask in the happiness that I have at being the weight I'm at now. Uh, and like I said, I'm gonna continue to keep figuring out better things. I mean, every time we try something, it's generally better than the previous time. I mean, the foods that Carrie was making in December aren't the same as what she's making now as far as quality and figuring out, because we were trying to figure out how to substitute ingredients until we could figure out where to buy them uh, and things like that. And so yeah, it's been um, yeah, thanks. Yeah, with Golden State, it's good to have that plan for when I do get into, because that's a big part of my whole channel. So my big things is that I'm doing this live thing or whatever for at least 3 years, and that's kind of what uh kind of uh started this or spurred this, was that I can lose weight for 9 months, I could lose weight for 5 months, I just did, or 4 months. It's when I get to the goal, it's not that I've never had the plan. Like I can follow weight loss diets to a T. I just don't know what to do when I get there, and then I just go back to the where I was, because I figure that I could just lose the weight again, and it's not going to work anymore. There's a toggle in the Daily Dozen app with 21 tweaks for weight loss, which could be helpful. Yeah. Um, Yeah, and those things, like we've bought the Bravo book, I think, which is written by the True North Clinic. I think Carrie has some other recipe books maybe she's gotten, and that's been great. I mean, the fact that this is becoming more popular uh, has been great because there's a lot more resources out there. But it's tough because there's not a lot of money in this industry. There's like, and so uh, for like people to make food. I mean, like I said, really the only processed stuff we buy, like we don't make ourselves, is Lara bars. Everything else we're making uh, our meals, and so um, but when you don't add salt, oil, and sugar, they're not really adding anything to it. They're not doing anything special, like just knowing how to prep the food. So a lot of these things, if I were to buy them from people, we could probably just reverse engineer or figure, look at the ingredients. Say, well, they use these 6 ingredients. If we figure out the combination, we could remake it. There's no special ingredient or proprietary blend or anything like that because it's and so anyways, I've gone really long today. This is definitely one of the longest ones I've done in a little bit. So I am going to get out here today. I thank you guys for stopping in, asking the questions. If you get a chance, make sure that you subscribe, turn on the notifications. If you click the bell icon, we have a Discord. It's in the description. That I'm just looking, for we're just trying to promote weight loss. It doesn't have to be a whole food plant-based diet to lose weight. That's what I'm doing. I'm really going to start pushing that because it's succeeding for me. But I just want to see people that are 500 pounds figuring it out and doing something because it's not sustainable to live that way. I mean, every day I was just putting myself closer to the grave, and now every day I'm pushing it further away, and it feels amazing. So yeah, thanks everybody for checking out. I'll be back on tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Time, and getting ready for the weekend. So I know that's stressful for people getting ready to go, and kind of weekends shuffle up your week when you're at home. With COVID, that's all different too. So, anyways, I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for checking it out today. You guys all have a great evening. Hop on the Discord if you want to talk or say anything. But other than that, you guys have a great night. Thank you.